All right. We're the Grumpy Dungeon Masters. I'm the Grumpy Dungeon Master Jay. I'm joined with my co-host Christopher, Christian, and Dan. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hello there.
Okay.
Great. All right. Hey, so Christian, where can they find us on social medias?
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. That's where you can listen to this thing we are doing right now. You can also find a copy of it on YouTube, and then you can look for us on Twitch TV. We're on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and some Saturdays. You'll find us playing games or running D&D.
All right, we're done with the intro. Your turn, Chris.
All right, guys. It was Gen Con this weekend. It was a big weekend, and we still have to talk about the psionics. So let's start with Gen Con first.
We'll get to psionics at the end here.
All right. God, so this is like the weekend for us, isn't it? With Gen Con?
I don't know. Did things happen at Gen Con?
No, nothing happened at all. So
I mean, a bunch of people had fun.
a bunch of people had fun.
We weren't there,
and
we were
a bunch
not
of people.
there.
Yeah, a bunch of people stood in line.
There are a lot of Transformers for sale. I want most of them. They unveiled a whole bunch of other really cool minis, but from a tabletop perspective, I think the biggest news that came out of Gen Con was Body by Gygax. Did you guys see this?
I did hear about this.
Wait,
so
what?
you remember Tommy Rice, the guy we met with Luke at Gary Con?
Yes, the gigantic football player.
Yeah, so
played for the Seahawks.
Yeah, so he and Luke got together and basically are creating an app to help you track your workout routines, and I think give you some workout routines to build a Body by Gygax. And it looks pretty sweet. I had this idea has been around for a while. I had the idea at one point in time to build kind of like a level up system for you for working out at the gym. And there are a couple that already exist. But this has
there's one that's I think Lord of the Rings based about if you walk X number of miles, you finally made it to Mount Doom to throw the ring in.
Yes, that app is they got sued. So they got sued because they were using Lord of the Rings properties, and they basically had their stuff stolen from them and then published again by a different company under the proper rights. But they were able to basically retool their application to, instead of walking to Mount Doom, you're walking somewhere else.
Don't we have this thing called Pokemon Go that everybody was all about for exercise a while back?
Not anymore. But there's a couple other
people still definitely play that, dude.
Yeah, I know. But there were a couple other apps out there. I can't remember one. I used one for a little while where you leveled up your avatar, like you would put in what your workout was, and then
so all that said, how is Luke trying to gamify this differently than other people?
Just giving him a D&D facelift.
All right.
Yeah, but I think it's neat nonetheless. Anything to get people into the gym and working out more is a positive.
I mean, let's be honest. Most gamers are lazy slubs that don't like to work out. So, sure, anything that might motivate them.
I will say is in the times that I did work out at the gym, having that app track my workout experience did push me to do more. So if now there's an app that I get to level up my D&D avatar and get him to go further and unlock shit, I think it's pretty hype. I think it's a really cool idea. But
are you going to use it then?
I'll definitely download it and check it out. My biggest issue is just time to be able to get to the gym.
Yeah.
I ain't got the discipline to wake up early and do that shit.
Spoken like everybody else.
Yeah. That's the hard part. But anyways, there's a lot of other tabletop stuff. Let's see. They announced a new board game, Solar Gardens, from Darrington Press. They talked about what Daggerheart was going to do in 2026, including some Kickstarters to fund class packs and whatnot. There's a Starfinder Afterlight, which is a new video game based on the Starfinder 2 rules.
I'm interested.
Yep. There's what else? Paizo has started partnering with D&D Beyond, and I believe some Pathfinder stuff is going up on D&D Beyond.
Wait, what?
No, they did a 5e version of one of their adventure paths, Abomination Bolts, and that is on D&D Beyond.
Well, I still consider it Pathfinder. It's not the Pathfinder rules.
It's Paizo. It's not Pathfinder.
Yeah, it is definitely not Pathfinder rules. It is
Right.
It is 5e rules.
Right. But it's still their adventures going up. And
it
another
is
thing,
Paizo's adventure, yes.
Yeah. And another thing from that is Cthulhu by Torchlight was just released onto D&D Beyond. And that's the Chaosium Cthulhu style thing done by Mike Merles. That just released for like $30 on to D&D Beyond. And that's what I'm really excited about. I really am liking D&D Beyond, how it's getting all these really cool things from other sources. And now that we have some, the Pathfinder adventures coming on, I think D&D Beyond is in a really, really great spot. I'm pretty happy with it right now. I know some of us don't like it at all, nor will ever use it, but I think it's doing exactly what I want it to do.
Yeah. I don't like it or hate it. I just don't have a use for it.
I don't like it because they use the fact that they have this as a platform as an excuse to not offer anywhere PDFs of their current rule system. And that I dislike. If I had the option, or if they were going to say, hey, you can buy it here and you'll get both a PDF and you get the copy on D&D Beyond, cool.
But they've never offered PDF copies of anything ever.
In today's world, with all of the other gaming companies out there that are just, you buy the book, you get the PDF, there is no excuse for any company to not be doing that.
Yeah, even with Kickstarters, that is like a standard practice these days, and which is honestly part of the reason why, after the whole thing with the Invisible City Overlord thingy that the Goodman Games did a couple of months back, it was ridiculously priced, and you either got PDF or you got the physical copy. You didn't get both. You had to pay extra like $150 for it. I'm like, no, not doing it. I mean, it is a huge turnoff for most people to not have digital copies of stuff.
I didn't realize that with the Overlords thing, because Goodman Games, usually you get the book, there's just a code up front, get the PDF.
Yeah.
So that's surprising.
And I since I've backed so many things with them before, I went and read the fine print because I saw a bunch of people commenting about it, and went back and was like, no way they don't give you the code. And sure enough, their customer service answered the question based on the licensing that we have, we can only sell one or the other. You can't sell both to you at the same time like we normally would.
And
I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna do this thing because I'm not gonna have a physical book that's gonna sit in my basement because it's so fucking heavy. I'm never gonna carry it anywhere.
Right.
It's fair.
Yeah. All the other stuff, like anywhere you go, you buy any of Free League stuff, you buy any of Chaosium stuff, you order it from their store, they send it to you, and you also get the PDF of it.
And I am very glad that that's what's happening. I'm glad that people are getting the PDFs. I'm glad that third parties are putting out the PDFs so they can kind of do what happened when music was being burnt, copied on cassettes and handed to another person. Here's my PDF. Run this. Oh shit, this is awesome. I'm going to go buy the book too. Blah, blah, blah. I get that, and that's great. But expecting D&D Beyond at this point in time, or WotC or Hasbro to give the PDFs when they've never done it, it's
we don't expect them. We don't expect them to. We know they're a shitty company.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a problem. It's not that I expect them. I think they should, because it's not like this is just a thing that third parties are doing. Free League publishes their own stuff. They're not a third-party D&D publisher, but they're happy to give their own books in PDF to you as well.
Paizo actually allows another company to just have a website up that Paizo is behind it.
The Pathfinder SRD. It's not just an SRD in the style of your D&D SRD. Anything that comes out that is recent, even if it was just published, that shit is up there for free for you to reference, because Paizo understands that people are going to buy their books regardless, but it's a whole lot easier for people who actually run games, especially, to just look on something that has a search engine.
Yep.
You know,
They have
it's just so much easier.
Yeah, they have understood and profited off the fact that if people can get to their stuff and if they like it, they're going to buy the stuff. Even if
Yeah.
there is a
Yeah.
free version that they can get, even if there's a PDF that they got from their friend, if they actually end up liking the stuff, they're going to go and buy it. And the people that
Yeah.
are going to buy books are going to buy the books anyways.
I spend hundreds of dollars on Pathfinder books that I'll probably never use again, even though I had access to that website, 15 years ago when I was running Pathfinder games all the time, because I liked their stuff, I liked the art, and it was something that I want to keep on my shelf. But yeah, it's a fucking deal breaker for me. Like when people do not include the PDFs when I'm paying, $70 for a book or $60 for a book, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that, and I accept it, but I just it's not a deal breaker for me because
Because of sunk
if
cost
I
fallacy, because all the money you put into D&D Beyond at this point.
no,
Yeah.
because I'm using that as a tool. I'm using most of the tools that are available for me, and it just syncs it all up together, makes it real nice and easy for me to run my games. I don't need the PDFs. In fact, running it with the PDFs has been more of a problem than being able to just have it in the Beyond and import it over to the builder and do everything that way. So I'm just saying for me, I'm liking the state of D&D Beyond as it currently is with all their extra stuff coming in. I got Lord of the Rings now, I got Cthulhu now. I got all these really great resources, and I'm looking forward to the big bundle they have coming up with all the heroes and the Faerun stuff.
Okay.
I'm looking
Well,
forward to
first
all
of
the
all,
DLC.
You're the
that's
only
about to
person
come
who's
through.
looking forward to the
No.
Faerun stuff.
no. Here's my problem with that.
What?
I don't
What is
mind
what?
D&D Beyond. No, well, first, I don't mind D&D Beyond existing. I do think it is actually, if you are primarily running 5e, it's a good tool for running 5e stuff, especially if you're running mostly official stuff. It is a good tool for that, and it does offer a good variety of some of the best of third-party stuff that you can find now for 5e that they're bringing that in. And I even think that it's good that they're actually vetting and being kind of choosy about what things they bring in. So all those are good things. However, with the Forgotten Realms, they are now taking the Electronic Arts policy of we're going to sell you a game, but not all of the game, because we're going to split off some of the game to sell you a separate content packs that's already done at the same time as the game, but we just wanted to get more money off of you and try to entice you to get a subscription to our site.
Well, and they're not going to give it to you as a physical copy. Like if they were going to take part from a book that they were writing and put it as another book, I have less of an issue of that. But yeah, the stuff they're
All
doing.
right. Should we back the truck up and actually just read the official blurb about it first?
What to Jay's point, with this stuff that's only on D&D Beyond, if something ever happens to D&D Beyond, or they decide that they need to edit or revise content, whether or not you agree with the fact that they should, you have no other source of that content.
New edition comes out, well, all your old shit's gone.
Yep.
Well, they haven't done that yet with the 2014 stuff.
They tried to.
They tried to, and there was a big fight for it, and the consumer won.
This
For now.
time.
All right. Pause for a second. Let me read this off from their website. Give me a second. Everything you need to know about the new Forgotten Realms books. Forge legends that will echo for aeons. The Forgotten Realms has inspired heroes, friendships, and timeless tales for decades. Now it's back, more expansive and ready for a new age of adventure. Releasing November 11th, Forgotten Realms, Heroes of Faerun, Forgotten Realms, Adventures of Faerun invite you to explore an unforgettable world built for epic storytelling, where every event or adventure is around every corner. And choose your way to explore the realms. Forgotten Realms, Heroes of Faerun. Forge a character worthy of a place in Faerun legends. Will you be blessed by the gods, committed to a powerful faction, or will you strive forth and change the world on your own? This book is your player-focused guide to becoming a hero of myth grounded in the divine and political powers of Faerun. 8 new subclasses tied with Forgotten Realms lore, including the Blade Singer Wizard and Scion of the Three Rogue. 34 feats and 18 backgrounds to create a hero unlike any other. 19 spells and a new circle magic cooperative casting mechanic. regional equipment to outfit your character, guidance on divine renown and worship of 42 different gods, information on 8 factions, classic and new and emerging ones, overview of 10 famous locales to help you craft your character's story, and Atlas of Faerun, which is a digital map of the continent available in the compendium on D&D Beyond Maps, and pre-order bonus only, Dalabad Oasis animated map for D&D Beyond Maps, digital plus physical only for that one.
The order bonus is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pre-order bonuses, gotta love it. Can't get it any other way because it's only available literally on D&D Beyond. The second book here. Forgotten Realms, Adventures of Faerun, step into a world of perilous quests, unforgettable villains, and endless adventure. Whether you're guiding a party through the streets of Baldur's Gate or the frost-covered wilds of Icewind Dale, this book brings you to the realms to life with fast, flexible adventures and offers expansive lore for deep world building. 50 plus ready-to-run adventures for level 1 through 15, which is nice. 5 detailed setting gazetteers that help you run survival horror in Icewind Dale, urban fantasy in Baldur's Gate, and more. 37 monsters and villains, including the Drow of Lolth. 12 magic items for your players to discover. Regional bastion options to build strongholds, the Lost Library of Lethchantos starter adventure for characters level 1 to 3, customizable for any included settings, 50 plus quick play maps with tokens, Fogs of War, and stickers for D&D Beyond maps, Asterix, digital and digital physical only, Alice Faerun, pre-order bonus, the Dalabad animated map for D&D Beyonds. But wait, there's more! Forgotten Realms Ultimate Bundle. To get everything the realm has to offer, you can get physical and digital versions of both books, 3 digital expansions at $14.99 each, Asterian's Book of Hungers, Netheral's Fall, and a secret 3rd expansion to be revealed on November 25th. And also included Baldur's Gate Digital Map Pack for D&D Beyond Maps, Forgotten Realms Factions Digital Dice Set, Atlas of Faerun, pre-order bonus only, the Dalabad Oasis animated map. They're really just kind of just throwing that in there for fucking everybody. And then, of course, the digital bundle, so you just get digital versions of both books.
Everything.
So there's a Q&A that continues on here, but the when you have like 5, no, let's see here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 different points for each of these books that came out. And the last 3 points are only available on D&D Beyond Maps and D&D Beyond physical digital copies only. And then the final death knell for this to me is 3 digital expansions at $14.99 each that are A, only digital, B, only available digitally on D&D Beyond, and C, that's $45 fucking for shit they should have included in the books in the first place.
Yeah,
Yep.
the whole Netheral's Fall. Netheral's Fall. I would actually like to read about that. I would like to see that, but I will never see it because I will never have access to it.
Day 1 DLC was something people always complained about in video games when they release a game and then like, hey, if you pay this extra, $14.99, here's more content, more quests that your character could have gone on. It means we could have included this in the game, but we chose not to, so we could charge you more money for the full game. This is what they're saying is we're not selling you the full book. We carved stuff out of it because I will bet you that these books are under 200 pages. I'd be shocked if they're
the Heroes of Faerun is probably more.
I hope they're at least 200, but I'll bet that there was room for this. Look at what's in Asterian's Book of Hungers. You're going to find player options, including the Dampier species, which people love that because it was super popular when they finally released it. 18 feats. 18. There's 34 in the base book, and there is another more than half as many in this digital expansion.
By the way, pre-order cost for Forgotten Realms Heroes of Faerun MSRP is $59.99. Regular cost for it, $79.98 for one freaking book.
Wow,
What?
they went way the hell up.
That's why I'm buying the Ultimate Bundle for $160. And
Jesus Christ, Chris!
basking in all my free stuff.
Yeah, he's the reason.
There's nothing
He's the
free
reason.
about that. There's nothing free about that. And
I think. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
you guys have been. Let me say my piece. I think $160. Okay, for all the digital stuff, for the 2 books. Okay, physical books, and because I use D&D Beyond so much. All right, I feel like that's a very good price for me. Okay.
You're
If
paying
you were
$80
asking,
a book.
I'm paying $80 a book, but I'm getting all the map pack stuff, all the dice stuff, which I do use. Okay. All the extra online only exclusive stuff, which again should be in the real book, but or at least handed out for free, So to
Yes.
get that $45 that they would charge me otherwise included into this $160 total, I feel that that's good. And those adventures are ones that I probably will most likely pick up and run and look. Now, is it shitty for you guys who sit outside of the D&D Beyond spectrum to never see any of this stuff without jumping into D&D Beyond? Yeah, that's a problem. But
The
for
problem is
me, as someone who uses D&D Beyond a lot, the
by
160
buying this, you encourage them to do less real books and more DLC and more, death by 1,000 cuts.
We've talked about this with you on Overwatch before, where they do that kind of bullshit, and you're the one who always buys it. And we're like, if you keep paying for it, they're gonna keep doing this shit.
But
But you
problem
complain about
is,
it first, and then
I will
you
complain
give
about it. Yes. So let's be honest. My one singular purchase of the stuff isn't going to affect anything.
Yeah, but
And
that's
no
the
one
mind.
out there, and especially the newer audience that comes out there, this whole Fortnite mentality of skins is what sells a game. That's why you end up with Beavis and Butthead in Call of Duty now. That's how things have progressed, and the newer gamers have been trained. So this is just another day for them. And the fact that they're getting their stuff and getting their skins and their battle tokens and maps and stuff. This is what I wanted back in 4th edition when they had the first original builder. I would have loved to have gotten a book and then gotten the map pack to go with it. Now, the stuff that I wanted during 4th edition, I'm getting now in 5th edition. I have other solutions that I would use. I'm not about to start using the map program that they have as much as they would like me to, because they gave up on it. But I like the fact that I'm getting the stuff that I need. And yes, there is definitely a better place where they would make less money and give more to the consumer, and that would be what you would hope. But it's Hasbro; they never are going to do that. It's silly to think that they would do that.
I have the feeling they would make more money if they did this a different way, but
I don't think so.
So
I don't think
okay.
so.
So what you're doing, just to back it up again, you're paying 160 for the ultimate bundle, right? That includes
that's the plan, yeah.
Which is, if you don't pre-order, supposedly going to be the MSRP of just buying the 2 physical books.
Correct.
Which is, first off, outrageous. Second, yes. It's beyond just greedy as fuck by Hasbro and WotC that they're doing this. And I think I said this in our private chat. In 1993, as a kid, I was 14 years old, I bought the Forgotten Realms box set, the 2nd edition box set. I looked at the MSRP for it. It is $29.95. Take that in $25, that's $60. I knew everything I could possibly need to know about the Forgotten Realms from that one box set. And most of that is actually more than they've ever given me in 4th or fucking 5th edition since then. Because most of that stuff has basically been, cliff notes and put on Forgotten Realms wiki, and I reference that shit all the time because there is no good official material. And considering I just looked up how many pages are in these fucking $60 books, I'm sorry, $80 books, 192 pages each.
So less than 200.
Less than 200. Oh my god.
192 pages. That's ridiculous.
For $80.
And most of it is going to be just a slightly tweaked reprint of shit that was in other stuff in 5e 2014. As you can already tell by the fact that they included the Blade Singer, they started including the Dampier, and other shit that included in some of the other, books that were not technically popular books, but actually had popular options in them. It's a fucking money grab, and I hate it. And I'm so glad I'm moving beyond WotC. I'll come back to D&D when somebody gives a shit takes over.
I mean, that's not going to happen. That they've doubled down on franchising D&D out, and
I
with
want
all
them
the
at
new
D&D.
with all the D&D video games that are coming out and D&D products that are coming out, they're just selling the name and the product now. And that's the state of it, you know.
And that's just fucking sad.
And that's the
that's
reason
why I am not
it is sad.
buying D&D books anymore. I'm not going to buy these books digitally or physically. I'm not going to go to my game shop and buy these books. I don't need them. I don't approve of what they're doing. I don't want to give them money for it because it's not worth the money they're charging me for them. So
if I ever end up with these books, it's going to be a secondhand store after they've been sold in for credit. So
because there's good companies like the guys behind Dungeon Crawl Classics and Shadow Dark and Dragonbane and other games that are not doing this greedy ass shit, that are better games even, and they give you more for your money.
yeah, that's the reason that they are expanding. All of those companies are growing. Every convention you go to, you're seeing more and more and more of secondary games being run and less of 5e D&D being run. And you do have real competition coming into the market with Daggerheart. I mean, we'll go into kind of some of the stuff they're doing later, but like
Pathfinder's been steadily, they're not like, leaps and bounds growing, but they are steadily growing, like sustainable, steady growth of market share.
Yeah, like it's a problem, and WotC is not acknowledging it. They're just doubling down, like you've said, and it's gonna bite them in the ass.
Yeah, because all they look about, because you're right, it's because it's Hasbro, and so for them, it's all short-term profit. What did we make this quarter? What do we make this quarter? Not, are we actually being good stewards of Dungeons and Dragons in the long term?
And let's not fool ourselves. They never have, nor never will be. And with Crawford and Perkins gone, I don't think it'll ever happen again.
They were, because for a while Hasbro bought WotC and didn't really know anything about it other than they were that card game company that makes money, and they didn't really know what Dungeons and Dragons was. And it wasn't until the rest of their company started falling in the dumpster that they realized, hey, this part of the company is making money. That's when it became a problem.
And all they're looking to do now with it is find some way to get it to turn over to the same money they're getting out of Magic the Gathering. When Final Fantasy made $200 million in a single day, that's all they care about, and that's what they want D&D to do.
That's why they're shamelessly exploiting the Baldur's Gate 3 characters. Asterios, Book of Ogres, in the Forgotten Realms, all of a sudden their poster child is now Karlach.
I want to talk about that. So yeah, the poster child on the Heroes, the Forgotten Realm Heroes book is the Black Staff lady, who I think is only on there just so they hit some kind of like, POC value, because that's the only like named character that's a minority that I can think of. Okay, then they got Karlach because everyone loves Karlach, and then they got Minsk and Boo because of course they have Minsk and Boo, and then they have Jar Axel for some reason because he's a drow.
You know what? Good? At least it's not fucking Dritz de Werden.
Oh, he was there too. He's in the video.
Jesus Christ. And let me go ahead and give a spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't finished Baldur's Gate 3. The other night, Christian and I finished our long-running Baldur's Gate 3 game, and I tried an alternate ending. I don't know if you guys have done this before, with Karlach, because I had played through as Karlach before, or with Karlach in my party before, and I was kind of bummed out at her fucking ending. Like, the original ending for Karlach in the Baldur's Gate 3 is she fucking dies.
There's a lot of variations.
But then a secondary ending, hold on a second. The secondary ending, after they got so many fucking complaints, was she ends up going back to Avernus and fighting a whole bunch of motherfuckers with Will. Cool. Slightly better, still not a great ending. She still can't come back because her heart's going to fucking give out.
Right.
And the other ending, which is the one I did with Christian, was Karlach becomes the Mind Flayer at the end of Baldur's Gate 3, and then she regains her free will, and her heart doesn't fucking matter anymore. but she's a goddamn mind flayer. So I find it hilarious that the poster child on this shit is a character that is either banished to Avernus or fucking dead.
So
Or a
I'll
mind
say-
flayer.
the
Go ahead.
background to that is that there was originally a way to fix Karlach's heart so that you could stay in the material plane. That content was mainly focused in the upper city of Baldur's Gate, which, having played through it now, you realize there is no upper city of Baldur's Gate because that whole area got cut. So when they cut that, unfortunately, Karlach's actual ending to her story to fix her heart was cut as well. So that left with her default bad ending of burning up on the dock, or you could do that one where she got stuck in Avernus.
You know what?
There's actually another one where you play her and go evil, and don't turn her into a mind flayer, where she rips out her heart. But because she has the power of everything, she basically, can live without it and becomes a god herself, which is kind of neat. But yeah, it's
I honestly like that there wasn't a fairy tale ending for everyone. That sometimes, like,
Yeah.
you do the thing and you just like there isn't a win. It's a very, I don't know if you read a lot of like Stephen King. It's a very Stephen King ending. Like there is
I
no
don't mind
happy
her
ending.
ending. I'm just saying that it's funny that WotC is pushing her as like a poster child, as if she's still around, because she ain't.
Because Baldur's Gate 3 is the biggest popular D&D thing that has happened in the last the last 5 years, and so they're going to milk it for everything that it's worth.
That's actually been brought up a few times. Like, what is the canonical ending to these characters from Baldur's Gate 3 if they're still going to be used? Because players are going to want to know so they don't misuse the characters or something in the future. Like, I believe the canonical ending for Asterion is that he becomes the Vampire Ascendant, which makes sense.
The way he talks throughout the game, that makes sense that you do.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good opportunities, right? A lot of good stories there with Vampire Ascendant, Asterion. But like, what happened to Karl? Like, how does she get back out of Avernus? People are going to want to know that. So if they just start using her without answering those questions, maybe that's what the secret thing is. Maybe they answer how they get her out of hell.
I hope not, because it won't be good.
I mean, beyond the fact that we know that it won't be good, I mean, let's give the writers some credit. They still have some good writers left there.
All right.
Even though
You know
they're
what, that
not
is
our...
fair. They do have some good writers there. There are some good people that do actually truly like D&D and care about D&D that are still working on D&D. I don't want to shade those people, because those people are actually trying to do awesome things with D&D, and I applaud them for that.
The fact that they have to design by
power.
committee and still come up with these answers, that's rough. It's really easy to take one person's vision and tune it up and make it better. It's hard to create a vision, then have it go through a committee and expect any of it to be good at the end. So,
well, that everything they make now is being through a lens of what can we sell, not I have a cool idea for something that would be neat to do in D&D. It is, how marketable is it to a mass audience? So we have to make it for everyone, not for a specific audience. It can't just tell a story that might not mass sell.
Yeah, which is a shame.
Mm-hmm.
That's the nature of giant companies.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, guys. If I had a giant company and I could sell it for a couple $1 billion and retire now, I would. I love my baby, but $1 billion is $1 billion.
I mean, with $1 billion, you could make a new one. So,
Yeah.
Open up another company.
Yeah, look at that one guy that made Minecraft. He's doing good, right?
Yeah, Notch. I think that was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He made a whole lot of money, and I think he just sort of fucked off.
He did. He seems like he sort of regrets his decision, because it turns out that having a lot of money doesn't actually make you happy when you were really happy doing the thing that you really liked.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Such is the way. But yeah, So these Forgotten Realms books, I don't give a shit about them. But it could have been nearly anything 5e, and I would have been in the exact same place. So
yeah, and that was kind of my point. You guys are all in the same place with 5e. I'm excited for it. One other thing I wanted to bring up though is the girl on the Adventures cover. I think she's in a couple books in 3rd edition, but the last things that popped up for her was in the Dungeons and Dragons online MMO.
Oh, that's right. We talked. Yeah.
So I had mentioned that. I didn't find any more information about it, but they're using her as a main villain now, and her last thing was online. So I don't know if they're going to start bringing in stuff from the online realm a little bit more. I know they sync up the releases together. Like you can see, like if they're releasing a Avernus expansion in the Dungeons and Dragons Online, that's usually what the next book is going to be. And her stuff was very recent, a little while ago, or they brought her back in, and now she's on the cover of one of the books. So I just find that interesting.
My last point will be, I am not in that boat. I don't play 5e, or I'm not running 5e anymore. However, I still have a nostalgia spot for the Forgotten Realms because that was the first setting that I ran for my first game being a DM when I was a kid. And I realized, okay, if I'm going to want to do this, I'm going to have to run this for my friends. And that was the stuff that was coming out then. So that's the stuff that I bought, that gray box set the day I talked about. That was one of the things that I bought to run for my friends. So I still have kind of a nostalgia soft spot. It's not my favorite setting, but there's a fond memory of the Forgotten Realms. It's the first thing that I ran as a dungeon master. So if it had not been all this nonsense, I was actually looking at buying these books, even though I know that I'm not going to run it or use them anytime soon. So, but now I'm not.
Yeah, same. I mean, I also have the great sense of nostalgia. It's not my favorite setting in the world, but I appreciate, what Ed Greenwood originally came up with, and I have a lot of nostalgia for it. But I also, it's so much freaking money for something I'm never going to run, and I only basically get about half the content by spending the $160 because I'm never going to actually make a D&D Beyond account.
Yeah, but I think it is worth it for me. I will be using it. I have people making characters on D&D Beyond with my account, so having these options for them for the 24 and 24 stuff makes sense. Do I want to spend money on this? Not really, but I think at the end of the day, this is a good purchase for me overall.
If you're going to use it and get use out of it, then sure. I get it. It's a terrible deal, but
I think it's a good deal, but I just don't think it's good for a non D&D Beyond person. Like even if you were just getting into it now, maybe this is a good starting book along with the bundle for the 2024 stuff. But I don't know. That's a big price.
It's not a good deal because they've swindled you into thinking that $45 of digital content they've priced is actually $45, which it's not. It should have just been part of the books.
No, I agree with you. I'm looking at this as this digital stuff is, from just a digital standpoint, getting all the digital stuff and then getting the 2 books hardcover as well. I'm looking at $80 a book, which is pretty much what I think. It's like $10 more per book than what I've been spending on buying the bundles for previous books through D&D Beyond.
A 192-page book should be $80.
No, it shouldn't be. It absolutely shouldn't be. But they're just going to go, oh, tariffs, and then you realize that, oh, by the way, we print our books in America, so we have our own print shops over here. We didn't pay tariffs on this shit.
Yep. All right, moving on.
Yeah, if I'm paying $80 for a book, it's going to be an old collectible book, like some of the ones I picked up this weekend.
Tell me about it.
Segue.
Yeah, see what I did there? No, I was very, very fortunate in that I was able to hit up an estate sale that had a lot of 2nd and 3rd edition and even first edition D&D stuff, and I was able to come out of there with the vast majority of it for a very, very reasonable price that I will not mention because people will just fucking hate me. But it includes.
Tell me.
I've told you. But
Tell
I managed.
us.
No, I managed to pull out. It was 4 first edition books, which was the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manual, the Unearthed Arcana, and what was the? I don't remember what the 4th one was.
Deities and Demigods.
Deities and Demigods. Jeez, you remember my shit better than I do. It is not the OG Deities and Demigods, unfortunately. It didn't have the Cthulhu mythos in there, so it's the later. Yeah, I know, it's the later printing. I managed to get all of the 2nd edition Van Richten's compendiums, which are really, really nice. I've been reading through them.
Oh, so good.
Yep. I got the Encyclopedia Magicas, which I've been wanting those for years. And those are I'm going to get a lot of fucking use out of that. Because for people who don't know, the Encyclopedia Magicas, they're 2nd edition books that compiled every magic item that had ever been made for Dungeons and Dragons. That includes all of the books up to that point. It includes all the Dragon magazines up to that point, Dungeon magazine, multiple other magazines that were D&D affiliated. It's 4 books full of magic items.
Aren't they like fake leather bound volumes?
Yeah.
Too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I always like wanted to get those, but they were just out of my price range. Like, I don't know. I don't run games, but I really want to have these for my shelf. So I regret never buying them.
Honestly, I mean, they're still pricey. They're online. You can get them for about $50 a piece. But the amount of stuff that's in each one of those, I don't care what kind of game you're running. If it's a fantasy game, whether it be 5e, first edition, Shadow Dark, it's going to find a lot of use because those magic items, they're just magic items. It's easy to convert that to whatever system. And there's, I don't know, there might be 1,000 magic items in each book, and there's 4 books.
Yeah, that was a really cool pickup. Similar to that, I don't know if you already have these or have seen them. You know, the Wizards and the Priests Spell Compendium series?
I don't know if I've seen those. I got the complete, that's what they call them, the complete series, which had the Wizard and the Priest and so forth, but I don't believe that's what you're talking about.
No, for 2nd edition, there's a Wizard Spell Compendium. It's similar to the Magic Item Compendium. It came in these faux leather-bound stuff, and it's 4 volumes, and it's every spell from every campaign setting, Dragon, Dungeon magazine, all for Wizards and Priests, and they archive it by they go through the alphabetical list, and they tell you what campaign setting, or if it came from Dragon or Dungeon, or where it came from, and it is a ton of spells, and there's some really neat stuff there. As far as even if you just want a weird niche spell, there's just all kinds of cool creativity stuff there that you could easily convert to almost any sort of D20 adventure game system.
Yeah, I see those on eBay right now. They're even more pricey. They're about $70 a piece. But
I have my copies, and I've kept.
Yeah, no, that's something that I would almost certainly get use out of. So maybe someday I'll pick those up piece by piece, or if I can get a good deal on them. But let's see, other stuff that was in that haul. I got, like I said, I got most of the complete series, which is complete halflings and gnomes, complete dwarves, complete elves. The only one I don't think I had was the paladin, and the psionics one wasn't in there, but I already owned it. But we'll talk about psionics later on.
Yeah, we definitely need to. We've had a couple comments where people ask, "Hey, we need you to talk about psionics. You still haven't talked about psionics, so make sure we don't forget."
Yeah. Then there was a handful of adventures in there. There was a bunch of Ravenloft stuff from 2nd Ed and adventures, which I'll read through. If I don't ever use them, I'll still read through all of them because I love that kind of stuff. What else? And as far as 3rd edition, the only stuff I picked up from 3rd edition was the monster manuals number 2 through 5. Obviously, I already have the first one, but I didn't have any of the others. So once again, something I can pull ideas from and find cool stuff in. And some of those monster manuals from third are fucking expensive too. So I'm glad I found them really cheap. And beyond that, there was there was a stack, and I mean a stack of like third party adventures and stuff. I might go through those, or I might offload them. I don't really know yet. But yeah, hell of a good haul that I was happy to find. I always keep an eye out for that kind of stuff, but man, it is few and far between.
I've never seen anything like that at a yard sale, garage sale, estate sale, anything.
Yeah, I mean, I was there at the butt crack of dawn. I was the third person in line.
Well, if you ever see one in our neck of the woods,
I'll be there, and then I'll
let
tell
me
you
know.
about it.
I will get up and go with you.
Yep, I don't really look in the Atlanta area too often, but who knows? I might. Somebody might find it and point it out to me. So, yeah, that's what was going on in my neck of the woods. Anyone have? So, what else do we want to talk about? I think there was some Daggerheart stuff or Critical Role stuff.
Yeah, so they announced the next season of Critical Role for all the Critical Role fans out there. And I think you guys shared around a video that I didn't watch it. What was the video about?
It was them talking about that, but it was the way that they did it that was absolutely fantastic. So they're on stage at San Diego Comic-Con, and you have Matt Mercer come out there.
I know this is Gen Con.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Gen Con. And San Diego was last weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they're at Gen Con. Mercer comes out there, and he's going through a spiel of just doing Mercer stuff, and then he mentions that he's the. I don't remember what his position is in the company, but he mentions his position in the company. And then shortly after, Travis comes out there wearing like white tennis shoes, jeans, and a fucking black turtleneck. And he mentions that he's the CEO of the company. And he starts going off using all these CEO buzzwords that have no meaning whatsoever that you would see at a fucking TED Talk.
No, I mean it was straight up, Steve Jobs,
Steve Jobs,
like announcing the
he was doing his
iPhone.
best. Yep.
Yeah, he was totally just pulling off fucking Steve Jobs. And then shortly after, Marisha comes out there wearing this. It was a turtleneck.
It was three
turtlenecks.
It was
turtlenecks layered on top of each other.
But it was like a knitted turtleneck on top of them. It was fucking great. And then she mentions her position in the company and everything. And then who was it? It was Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins come out in a turtleneck that is sewn together so they look like an Eton.
Let me just say, if you have never, I have worn one of those things, those Eton things at a LARP, perhaps.
So have I.
To go out there, and those are obnoxious and uncomfortable at best.
But it was so great just seeing them come out there in a turtleneck Eton shirt as a singular entity. I think Mercer even called them Craramy at one point.
Yeah.
But that was sort of the gist of it. Then they actually go on to announce the season 4 of Critical Role, and they put a little teaser video up that didn't show you much of anything, except that there's going to be a new game master. It will not, in fact, be Matt Mercer. He will be a player this time around. And to nobody's surprise, the new game master is Brennan Lee Mulligan, who then comes out on stage and starts talking.
It's actually a big surprise to me that he did this. All right. So you guys don't follow Dropout at all, do you?
Never even heard of it.
I see some of the Dropout TVs. It used to be called College Humor. You've
I know
videos
College Humor.
Yeah, they used to be called College Humor, but they've got a number of different TV shows and just like short skits that are absolutely hilarious.
Improv comedy stuff.
A lot of improv comedy.
Really good, actually.
So Dropout is dropout.tv. So you go there, it's like $6 a month. It's their own streaming service. It's for improv comedy. It has stand-up comedians that show up there. Their main show is a show called Game Changer, which is like a random game each time with random contestants. If you go on YouTube, you'll probably find all of Brendan Lee Mulligan's clips with it. They're really fucking funny. It's a lot like the Taskmaster show, which is free on YouTube as well.
It also reminds me of Whose Line Is It Anyways?
Speaking of which, they've had a couple of people from Whose Line on there
Yes.
in the earlier days too, which is
Yeah.
like the Beastie Boys rap was just fantastic.
But on top of that, they have a couple other shows. They have a show called Parlor Room, which is like them playing board games. They have Dirty Laundry is another show where it's just sketch improv comedy. But the big moneymaker for them is Dimension 20 is hosted through them. So all the D20 shows that Brendan Lee Mulligan runs are all streaming through that. So he currently has one that just started, I believe, called Cloudward Ho. They just finished a Fantasy High series. He's got a lot of that. Brendan Lee Mulligan just signed a 3-year contract to continue doing D20 or Dimension 20 shows for Dropout. And then today he's also signed on to do Critical Role stuff for run the Critical Role show. So like this man also just this man just also had like a child, and I don't even think is 1 year old yet. I am afraid this man burning himself out. Like I am genuinely worried. You know,
maybe he needs that money. He did. You know, it's funny when he came out in the video. He initially got into this nonsense because he was in medical debt for his
fucked up teeth, to quote him.
And so he had to find something to do, and he found improv comedy. And you know what? I don't follow a whole lot of Critical Role or Dropout. I've watched a little bit of Dropout with some friends of mine that live across the country that stream it, and we've watched it together. And it's hilarious. They're generally very funny, very good performers. I do enjoy their sketch comedy and their improv humor. It's fantastic. I don't watch a lot of Critical Role. Not because I don't think it's cool, just because it's like they run stuff for like 4 or 5 hours at a time, and I just don't have 4 or 5 hours to sit down and like watch stuff during a day. It's just too much. I think it's great. Having been friends with a lot of like theater kids, I am enthused for them through they have found a way to monetize being theater kid nerds and just get to have, like, you can see it in everything they do with their production values. They've just taken the money to just be like, what kind of weird theater stuff do I want to do this time? And they just do it. And I think that's great for them.
One of the more recent episodes of Dropout, they were kind of making fun of the Price is Right wheel. So they basically made a Price is Right wheel, brought it out, and made the contestants spin it, and then they had to basically take the thing that they spun off, stick it to them, and then they had to keep doing that thing throughout the show. One of them was like, wear a giant cowboy hat, and you can't say filler words, and you have to talk like Christopher Walken, and you have to sing while you're doing it. It was bloody hilarious.
The one that I caught recently was so they did it sort of like a bidding your idea sort of thing. Like what was that show that? So one of the comedians was like, okay, so what I want to do is I want to, having never run a D&D game before in my life, run a D&D game for some of the best DMs online that do live actual play. I'm going to Brendan Lee Mulligan, Matt Mercer. Okay, so tell us about this thing. I don't know anything about it, but I am going to be dressed like an elf the entire thing. Does it have anything to do with what you're doing? No, absolutely nothing at all. Okay, I'm also going to be running it. The character's going to be on a bus. Tell me more about this. I don't know yet. We're just going to make it up as we go. I was like, Jesus Christ.
The best fantastic part is when they actually ran that, go ahead and roll for initiative. You go first. Then I'm not rolling for initiative if I'm going first.
Yeah, Brendan Lee Mulligan's busy trying to correct her rules. She's like, I don't care. Just do it.
And Matt Mercer's in the corner trying to make it work. And she's like, no. You want a sandwich? I brought sandwiches.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, that show was like Shark Tank.
Shark Tank, that's the show. Yeah.
And essentially, whatever video gets the most like likes and impressions wins that show. They don't have a winner for that show yet. Usually, there's a winner every show. So I think the one though where they made Brendan Lee Mulligan quit DMing fully and quit Dropout to basically make American Girl doll shoes for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I think that one's going to win, but the Dimension 20 on a bus with Katie Maravich just kind of going crazy and not knowing any of the rules was up there.
It didn't seem about knowing it. She doesn't care. She is just saying random statements, and Matt Mercer is trying to make it make sense. Bradley Mulligan is questioning his sanity for why he's sitting in the seat.
Why are we on a bus? I don't know. The bus explodes. How? I don't know. Is there no bus now? What happens in episode 2? Combat.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Funny people. I wish them all the success in the world.
I just hope Brendan Lee Mulligan doesn't burn the wick at both ends too much, and just.
I think that's why Matt Mercer is stepping away from the DM thing, is because he's been doing the DM duties for 10 years.
Yeah.
Of a major now theatrical production, basically.
Yeah, with live plays in various cities, like fucking.
They're coming here to Georgia.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
but now he's the chief content officer of Darrington Press, also.
Yeah,
and like now he's got a real job on top of that. So,
and he still needs a voice.
It started out as a fun thing to do that they were just doing, and now it's become a company that is making real money. They're making cartoon TV shows with Amazon, and
it's a lot for sure.
And they're all still doing voice acting work.
I don't know how. I do not know how they're doing that. Like I said, that's what I worry about. As I just all these people are such a big creative forces, but
I think this is kind of the testing the waters of some of them starting to step back a little bit and put some new people in to see if they can keep the ship going. If Critical Role can continue, if you replace some of the people, right?
Yeah.
These people they're getting older, they're doing more projects, they're running a company now. Can you replace some of the players, the DM and stuff, and still keep it going?
Then I would have gone for someone like Deborah Ann Wolf or another high quality, D&D personality that doesn't already helm his own show. Because I think at this point in time, you're just going to combine the audiences if they're not already combined, as it is.
That might be a good thing.
Yeah, that overlap might work.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't have my say. Can we replace Matt Mercer with Brendan Lee Mulligan? Yes, you can. That's a dumb question, and it's not that one is better than the other. It's just you already have a tried and true and set individual. You look at who's the guy?
That's probably why they did it this time, because that's a pretty safe. It's still a pretty radical move, right? Matt Mercer's been, for the last 10 years, he's been the guy the whole time. But Brendan Lee Mulligan is still a popular, well-known figure. So, and he's been associated with them. He's run some of the small stuff with them. It's a safe move. That they can say, we can probably make this move. It'll be a little bit shocking, but we can probably, people will probably go with it. He's a known quantity to our fans. Whereas if they had brought someone else in, it would have been a little bit even more radical. Like, dude, can this person do it? And maybe they will for the next season. Maybe season 5 will be someone totally different. Maybe they will bring in someone like,
Deborah Ann Wolf or Matthew Lillard.
I think those would be
actors that play
people.
Symmetra, or any of the other two ladies that do Dimension 20 stuff, like I can't remember their names right now for the life of me, but like I don't know, I feel like Brendan Lee Mulligan's too safe, in a lot of ways.
I think it's a good first step. I think Deborah Ann Wolf could do it well too. I think she would be awesome.
There's a ton of good choices. Yeah.
That was the other thing too, is they're releasing the faster Purple Worm Everybody Dies Volume 1 book from the
You mean the show that
Show.
D&D that WotC made and then didn't promote or
Yeah.
advertise or
That
try to
nobody could
control?
find to watch it online.
They had a live performance at Gen Con this year, and that's where they announced that they were selling the book for everything. And I will be buying that, but that's not an official D&D product. It's just
That's a cool
Beatles
thing to
and
have,
Grimm
though.
thing.
Yeah. Yep. So was there any actual other announcements from what Darrington Press is doing? Like, or stuff they're releasing? Because I know they were going to talk about things, but I didn't follow any Gen Con news really. So
The only thing I followed was, and maybe somebody else has something else, they are going to do in the not too distant future a Kickstarter to support some of their new classes and ancestries and domains for Daggerheart. So new Daggerheart content. I think they're doing the Kickstarter because they're trying to they know that their initial stuff was pretty popular, but they're still trying to judge kind of does Daggerheart have legs? And if so, how much legs, so we kind of know where our base is.
I gotcha. So yeah, I mean they're going to be releasing stuff.
They've got the playtest stuff over on, I forget the name of the site but you can download the playtest stuff for free and see where it's at right now.
My local bookstore actually had the Daggerheart product. They actually had the box sets, so I need to pick them up sometime soon just to see what it's about, other than looking through the online SRD stuff.
Yeah, I can't because I'm broke. I have to spend $160 on something I already own.
You don't have to. You choose to.
I must.
Yep. He's got to have it. Got to have it. All right. So does anyone have any last things they want to talk about before we wrap this podcast up?
Well, I still need to talk about the psionic stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead and talk about that, Chris.
Okay, so I did a lot